Welcome to another beautiful day in the Northeast. I would like to give a big thanks to everyone that has followed me and watched my videos so far. Today we're going to head over to the city to check out some history. It's going to be an awesome day, and thanks for joining me. So the first place I visited is Lambert's Castle in Paterson, New Jersey. It was built in 1892 by a wealthy silk manufacturer. Today it has been converted into a museum, but unfortunately it was closed due to restoration. Now we're heading to a lookout tower that's located about 800 feet above and behind the castle. There's actually a trail that runs from the castle to this tower. Unfortunately, they were also restoring the tower. This is called the Watchung Ridge, not to be confused with Rapunzel's Tower. That's what I used to call it when I used to live here. What I like about it is that it looks out into New York City, which is pretty cool. About a half mile down the road, you'll come across another overlook. So this overlooks the city of Paterson. We are on Garrett Mountain, which is about 1,000 feet above sea level. There's a lot of great manufacturing that used to happen here. What's great about this city is that they haven't knocked down the old factories. Most of them have been restored or converted into luxury apartment buildings. And the infamous East Side High is located here. This city reminds me of the powerhouse that the US used to be as far as manufacturing. The very first Colt revolver was made here. It was called the Colt Paterson, ironically, and it was given to the Texas Rangers in order to defeat the Comanche Indians down in Texas, and it's one of the reasons why Texas is part of the US. Welcome to Fort Lee, New Jersey. So there's a lot of history here. A lot of battles were fought here by George Washington and his troops during the Revolutionary War. They were trying to defend New York City. Unfortunately, in 1776, they got captured by the British, and they occupied New York City for 7 years until the war ended, and we got our independence. Now we're heading to the top of Fort Lee Park. There's an overlook of the bridge up there, and there's also a museum with exhibits of the Revolutionary War that I'm going to check out.
attacks Washington's troops in advance of the Brooklyn fortifications and defeats them at the Battle of Long Island.
Now we're heading to our next location. This may not be a big deal to most, but I'm in the hydrogen sulfide business and I'm very familiar with wastewater plants. So when I see something like this, it actually intrigues me. Here's a wastewater plant right smack in the middle of the city next to buildings and homes, and it doesn't even smell like wastewater. I was also intrigued by this fake apartment building here to the right. It's actually part of the wastewater treatment plant. The homes in this area are worth tens of millions of dollars, and you'll see why in a moment. It was really awesome to see these accordion buses again. We don't have these in Florida, and I'm always amazed at how maneuverable they are for their length. I guess that's the whole point, right? Now this has to be the longest and tallest retaining wall I've ever seen. It just keeps going for miles. Even though we're right across the river from Manhattan, this reminds me of the famous row homes of the Cosby Show. Welcome to Liberty State Park in Jersey City. From here you could take a ferry to Ellis Island and the Statue of Liberty. A lot of people don't realize that the Statue of Liberty and Ellis Island are actually closer to New Jersey than it is to New York. There's a 9/11 memorial placed here. Those two columns you see erected there is actually lined up to where the Twin Towers used to be if you were looking at it from here. There's also a registry where you could look up loved ones that lost their lives during the 9/11 attacks. to the typical northeastern ghetto, we are still in Jersey City. This brings back memories of my youth. Oh, yeah, it's causing a ruckus. Go up fast here. But at least it's never a dull moment. Oh yeah, and don't mind the trash on the sidewalk. It's time to leave the city and get something to eat. Thank you. As I head back to the Airbnb, I stumbled upon some great Pennsylvania back roads. This was definitely the icing on the cake. If I were to paint a perfect picture, it would be a narrow winding road with cornfields on both sides. As I come over the crest, the warm sun welcomes me. I see miles of rolling hills and farmland, the deer playing out on the field. It's like a postcard, absolutely magical, and I will never forget this moment for as long as I live. I always ask myself, what is the big deal about the Catskills and the Adirondacks? Well, that's exactly what we're going to find out on the next video, so please stay tuned for that, and thank you for watching.